So with anything new, there becomes difficulties and confusion, and especially with the change of this side, I know there can be concerns, especially when that second word, Chromebook, brings a lot of things to your mind. So for those of you that didn't get a chance to talk to me recently, or just to give you something to refer back to regularly to kind of help you out with using a Chromebook and Chrome OS, I wanted to kind of put together an overview. I'm going to cover a few things within the presentation, and then I'll pop around on the device just to kind of let you see some of the features and just sort of help you to kind of understand what this will look like, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So the first thing is first off, quality. It's not what your students get or buy. Okay, it's not the black block of plastic. So it's got a glass screen. It's got a backlit keyboard. What that means is the lights that show up under the keys. So for those of you that like to grade lesson plan at night while you're watching TV, you'll still be able to see your keys. It has the same storage, meaning hard drive space, 128 gigs, and RAM as your MacBook. Now RAM is 8 gigs. That's the memory that makes the computer do what it does. So, for those of you who like to run a lot of tabs, RAM is what allows you to run more tabs. Running where, there's more time between having to restart. That's what RAM does. And because it's running just basically the Chrome browser, it's such a lightweight operating system that it ends up feeling very fast and very quick. So I just want to kind of those things as far as the quality, and I think those of you that got to see the device, you got to experience that. Now, a couple of misconceptions about Chrome that I want to clarify, and in some way probably misconceptions may not even be the right word, but just things a lot of times you don't know if you're not using it all the time. So for one, things will work offline. So if you're without internet access, internet goes down, or if unfortunately power goes down at a campus, you can still work. That includes two things. Your drive files, you can give those on offline access, work on them, edit them. It'll give you warnings you need to manually save them. And then when you connect to the internet, they'll get sucked back up to the cloud, backing them up. But you can also save files locally. So you've actually got a files folder where you can do downloads. And in your downloads, you can actually create folders and do all sorts of things like that. So including if you wanted to put in like a flash drive, external hard drive, you can do that. And it'll show up with a little eject button similar to what you've been used to. Also, if you hook your phone up to it, it will read it as an external mass storage device, basically, and it'll pull up your photos like a flash drive as well if you're needing to transfer pictures. Now, another thing is it will open Microsoft Office files. Now, just to let you know, what I'm talking about is like PowerPoint and Word, where there's just you wanting to view it, and there's basic editing. Yes, if we get into fancier fonts, very detailed, heavy animations, there can be issues, and sometimes those things won't function. And so those are some things we can take on a case-by-case basis, and that's what I want you to hear is anything you run into that you need support on, you're unsure of, let us know, and we will work and talk through things, research, do what we need to do to make this transition as smooth as possible. But from what I've seen from the majority of you, the things that you utilize, even though it's on a minimal basis, will work. And for a few of you, you may have already heard from me. I'm going to reach out because I just noticed I think there's actually a way you could do things differently utilizing the Google tools, and your planning's going to be faster and life's going to be smoother. So a couple of things I want you to know there. Benefits. This kind of gets into some of the why. So updates happen in the background. So what a lot of this is the things that we hear from you that you get frustrated by, but also the things you care about more or most in your job. These do and they do well. So the updates happen in the background. So no more security updates and warnings that we need to update to the next Tiger Mountain, whatever the case may be. Fast performance and strong battery life, and again, good components. It's a quality device, well built. Been testing mine for 2 years. It works great. Love it. Honestly, I can honestly say that I love mine and use it all the time. But because of the lightweight operating system, that builds into that as well. And again, lightweight means doesn't take a lot of storage space, not doing 100 things in the background that you don't necessarily need. And so it's focused on doing what you need it to do. And that's the other thing. Does what you need to do without the confusion of what you don't. And so here's just one example. Let's say you opened a document. Let's say you had a spreadsheet. And one time it opened in Excel, the next time it opened in Numbers. And you might not even realize it, or you just noticed it was different. You didn't have the tools you used to have. And instead of having to figure, and then you got to figure out why did it do that? How do I stop it from going again? which app is it in? Those sort of things go away. Now, I know that doesn't apply to a lot of you, but for many of you it does. And so taking away that confusion and then just focusing on the things that it does well, because if you're the kind of person who teaches basically in your Chrome browser and you've got your tabs and you're working through your sheets, slides, and drives, that's not going to change. You're basically going to teach exactly the same way you do. The difference is, since Chrome is what it runs, log in, pull up, go, and all that. Now, ages well due to the lightweight OS. Kind of same deal. Like when Macs and Windows machines are great, but you can tell when there's been upgrades, the memory's starting to get, lagging or updates to software, and you can tell like it's time for a new computer. This won't really feel that way. Now, we'll still be monitoring refresh cycles and doing that in plenty of time, just as we've done with the MacBook Airs. But it does well. It's a hybrid device, so it does fold over into a tablet touchscreen, so you can do a lot of things, and we're working on some other options to continue to make you more mobile in the classroom, around your kids, engaged with them. And so, but it's all in one device, so so we can do that. Very secure. I know this comes up a lot because I know Mac secure, and it is. It's right there with it. Two reasons. One is that you don't install applications to it, so there's nothing to really download and install, so that adds a security label. And then they also have file encryption and other things, and you can read about it on their various sites about them and the ways that they keep these things very secure. And then, I will say this. So there's an ease of management. Okay, so there is a part of this that does benefit IT, and especially if you train staff and roll them out. But here's where that benefits you. So if you're utilizing your Google Drive, as I know many of you do, and let's just say something happens. I mean, when you order anything in bulk or just work on a daily basis, stuff will happen to a device. It's just a matter of swapping it. We get it, you get a new one, and you won't notice the difference because as you log in, go to your drive, it's basically the same computer. And so for you won't notice a difference. We'll go get it fixed and we'll have another one in inventory, but it won't be like, here's the one we have, get all your files, wait while we know this will be harder to use because it's older, but wait, use it while you can. We'll get yours back to you. It's very smooth and seamless for you. Okay. So just kind of wanted you to be able to see that. Now, for some more kind of overview and features of things that you may or may not know about these. So they do have screen capture built in. And so it's in this little clock menu, and there's screen capture. And you can record a video like I'm doing right now. I'm actually using my Chromebook to record this video. But you can also do screenshots, and that includes full screenshot, recording a tab, recording a window. And so you can do all those things. There's a settings menu where you can control some things like sleep cycles and stuff like that, power saving modes, all those things, but also displays. And you can just search similar to what you do there, search display. And this is for those of you that either like to extend or mirror your desktop. You still get controls of that, so it will run multiple monitors. It will run your Chromebook, so it does that. A lot of these companies now are building web apps, and so you can still launch Visualizer, and you can still use your camera. Sorry that you had to see me. So you can still utilize your document camera. And so there are those things, and then again, like I said, things you have, your bookmarks, your tabs, things of that nature will continue to run and do the same thing. Now, I will let you know a couple things that I have noticed. So one thing is, when you log into these, they'll just be your Google account. So no more having to know it's called the Active Directory login, but the last name, first name, and then whatever your password happens to be. You'll log in with your Google account, so one password. If you update that password, it'll do it. Now, when you have to log into this, and how you utilize this and restart on your kind of timetable is you. But when you do log in, it will use two-factor authentication as we've set up. And if you've been having issues with that, let me know, because there's multiple options, and it may just be a matter of sitting down with you, especially because I know like phone signal's weird in the building. There's backup options where you actually don't even have to get the message every time, so that way you've always got a way to get in. But when you get in, you have a desktop here, and it you can't save things to it. So I know that makes some of you sad. But what you could do is in your folders here, you could create a folder and call it desktop if it made you feel a little better. But from there, it's pretty straightforward. You click this, and there's your Chrome, and you're ready to go. And you can see how quickly it launches and goes. You do have this dock here, and so you can pull things down to here and to basically make them, easier to access if you so choose. Okay, so I can add things to my dock here. And so you can do that. They're basically, big fancy bookmarks, but they're also very easy to search for right here. And so you can do that and utilize that. And they're basically the Chrome web app. So there is some customization features as well. And then there, again, the files folder. I keep calling it files folder, but I want you to know this was your smiley face, your finder. That some of y'all still, I know it's fun trying to remember what that thing's called sometimes. So you can do that. Another thing I like here is your recent downloads are here, but you can actually pin files that you use regularly here. So used to there was an order tracking sheet we used regularly, and I pinned it to that. So that's just a few things overview-wise, getting some familiarity, and maybe some things you didn't know that I hope kind of helps you in either preparing for the transition or just as you get used to utilizing things throughout the year.